This podcast is produced by Visionary Studios. Hey everyone, I'm Mitchell Rail.
And I'm Sagar Jawani.
And welcome back to Let's Unpack That. Today, we are joined by Benton McClintock. Benton,
Hi.
How are you doing today? Welcome to the pod.
I'm so good. I am recovering from being assaulted on the street last night walking home. It was really sexy. But yeah, I'm so good. How are you guys?
Whoa. Are you okay? What happened?
I guess I'm too quick to scream at people for just touching me in the street, especially straight men. But do you guys experience that? Do you ever walk by a straight man who just strong arms you and you know they're doing that to show some type of power, or am I just insane?
No, it happens. It happens in any big city. You're in New York,
happens.
so we would understand. Oh, it happens, but the part that doesn't happen to me is being attacked after.
Well, do you scream at them?
Never. No, I would probably say sorry and then keep moving.
Oh no, I say fuck you,
But I'm
and that triggered him.
It's different from you, yeah.
Oh, so you screamed and then he decided to escalate things.
Yeah, I screamed fuck you. I kept walking. He chased me down the street, grabbed me by the neck, shoved me into his smoke shop window, and was lightly punching me on the I don't know why. I think he wanted me to retaliate so that he could escalate it further, but I wouldn't. I was just touching my purse, waiting for him to finish. And then, yeah, we both went on our way. It was really sweet. It was just a nice little, Humans of New York interaction. But it was my first assault in my 5 years of living here, so I think I'm doing pretty well, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, you've made it this far. Hopefully, you can make it another 5 years without anything happening.
I was just don't touch my face. Please don't touch my face. That
It's been damaged
how
enough.
I make my money. Don't touch that. And he didn't, so that was really sweet of him. I really appreciated that. But
Was he bigger or smaller than you?
Probably weighed more, but he was shorter.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
The visual of this is creating. It's really interesting.
Benton, how tall are you?
I'm 6'3".
Yeah, okay, I had a feeling. So I'm just imagining this lanky gay dude, and then there's a short, yeah, dude.
Yeah, he was just doing this. I was like, do you think that hurts? That it doesn't hurt.
Do you think that penetrates my Balenciaga outerwear jacket?
That's not
right? What were you
penetrating my
wearing?
Balenciaga Air One apron.
Speaking of designer content, people may know you or recognize you from some of your TikToks where you review designer brands, etc. But if people are listening to this and don't know who Benton McClintock is, who is Benton?
I would say comedian and writer. My
Okay.
end-all dream is to be I want to be a screenwriter. So that's kind of why I do content, to build a portfolio, to hopefully one day be purchased by a production company to write for them in
That'd be
the
really
comedy
cool.
space.
Very
Yeah,
cool. Very cool.
The day that my face does not have to be plastered all over the internet will be a really great day.
But until then.
Until then, I will be inescapable.
But let's go back to the beginning. Where did you grow up, and what was that experience like for you?
I grew up mostly in the middle of nowhere in North Carolina, but I also grew up, I was born in Illinois, DC until I was 8, and then my mom got remarried and we moved to North Carolina, and then I was between North Carolina and Texas until college. And North Carolina sucked. It was a horrible place to grow up gay. I came out at 13 in a very small town, and I had my first restraining order at 13 as well, because it was just not, people just could not accept a gay person in that community, I guess. There was no queer community at all. So I kind of pioneered that in that town, and I don't know why some people find that threatening in the South to be homosexual, but there were some people who thought it warranted death threats and things of that nature to a child, so That was super fun, but it taught me how to be very, I guess, just unbothered, I guess.
Wait a second. Who was sending you death threats?
I would get death threats as a 13-year-old child from other children's parents and the kids. I don't know why. I really, to this day, cannot comprehend why that would even occur. But people just did not like having a queer person in that town. It was a very small town, a very religious town, a very, like, southern white trash town. Like, that's just how it was, and they were not accustomed to gay people. They didn't want it around them. They didn't want it around their kids. I remember I would come home from school and play, like, the voicemail box on our home phone, and it would be this girl's mom just saying horrendous things on our voicemail box about me and about my family and calling us, like, sinister and all this crazy shit.
You are sinister, but it's not because you're gay.
Yeah, and telling me I was going straight to hell, all this shit. So it ended up in a lawsuit, and I had a restraining order against them when I was 13.
Oh, I thought the restraining order was put out against you.
No, I
All
was
the way
granted
around.
to my family.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I ran into the daughter of that woman at a party years later when I was like 16 or 17. And I was like, should I kick you out? I mean, I didn't, but...
Well, what was Benton like at 13? Like, what were you doing that was causing people to, like, repeatedly call you?
I really don't know, honestly. I was very flamboyant. I was very out there. I did not, like, hide it. I was actually extra flamboyant just to, like, piss people off.
Yeah.
Just to, like, I thought it was fun to get reactions out of people. And, like, I got a reaction out of this girl when I was, like, out and about in town. I think it was actually my stepsister's, my ex-stepsister's, like, sweet 16 or something, and this girl was there. And she was just being a bitch. So as we know from how I respond to people just shoving me in the street, I gave it right back to her, and she accused me of, like, all of these things of, like, harassment and all of this. And I was like, actually, it was you who was harassing me, and I just responded. And the judge was not dumb, and thank God he wasn't homophobic, so he saw right through it and granted me that, which was really sweet. But I was very flamboyant. I didn't hide it. I would wear, like, women's clothing. I wore Uggs. Like, I wanted Uggs so bad because all the girls had Uggs, so I was, like, the only boy wearing Uggs around town. I looked so stupid. But I thought it was fun. I thought it was really fun to mess with them. And, like, my brother and all of his friends were, like, on the football team and the basketball team, and they all loved me, and they would, like, kill anyone for me. So I was very, like, protected physically because of my family. And so it made it easy for me to antagonize people with my sexuality. And it was fun for me. I enjoyed it. It was really entertaining.
So how long were you in North Carolina for?
Age 8 to 17.
Okay. What caused you to leave?
Well, my mom got divorced again. That woman cannot hold a marriage. Yeah, she cannot. Her luck with men is bad. So, yeah, he robbed us blind, and then my mom had to leave. And, yeah, she lives in California now, and then I went to college in Nashville. Well, actually, first I spent a semester of my last year of high school in Spain just to get away from the warfare that was that divorce. And then, yeah, I came back, and she moved, and I moved to Nashville, and she's still in California, which is nice. I prefer California to North Carolina.
So what was your experience like going to school in Nashville? Was there more of a gay community there that was a little bit more, like, supportive and able to, you know, not threaten you or look down on you for being who you were?
I mean, to me, Nashville was like a city, which is so funny now, living here. But coming from North Carolina, Nashville to me was like a big city, and there were so many gays. But looking back, it was a very small gay community, but it did exist, and it was easy. I went to Belmont, which was a private Christian university. I don't know why that was.
Are you religious, Benton?
No. No.
How did you end up at Belmont then?
Because it was the most expensive school that I got into, and my mom's ex-husband was like legally forced to pay for my school, and I hated him, so I wanted him to spend as much money as possible.
Wow.
Because I'm vindictive, I guess. That's literally the only reason. It was a beautiful school. The campus looks like it's like ancient Rome. Like all the buildings are inspired by Florence. It was so cute. It was a stunning campus. But I did have to go to like 20 hours of like religious affiliated things. But it was interesting. They would like take like Buddhism as like religious studies too. So it was liberal for a Christian school.
Was there any pushback to your identity that you experienced while you were there?
No, everyone there was gay. It's like an art school.
Where is this? Can you send me the... No, I'm just kidding.
It was a very, very gay school. Like they produce like musicians and songwriters. So that's like...
Oh, I see. Okay, fair enough.
You graduate from college. What's next for Benton after that?
I got an internship working in fashion in the city and like living with the family on the Upper East Side, like as like a live-in nanny kind of. I was a fashion intern and did that and made $15 an hour to just run errands for a designer all day long. So fun. That's what brought me here. I don't know why. I had no idea what I wanted to do. I had no clue. I don't have any passions when it comes to like professions. Like I was never like, I want to be a doctor or a lawyer or whatever. Like I had zero of that ever. So I was just like, I like clothes, I guess, and I have this connection, so I'll go do that. And then that led me into tech PR. So I was doing PR for like Amazon and all of those corporate monsters. And I only lasted 6 months at that job because I just don't function well in an office. Quit that job and rewarded myself for working for 6 months by backpacking through Europe with my ex-boyfriend. And then we got stuck in Amsterdam during COVID. And then I came back and I was unemployed during COVID, which was actually so fun. Did you guys get those checks?
I was sadly living with my parents still, and like they were still claiming me on their taxes. And so I did not get either of the stimulus checks.
Oh, I got the stimmies.
I'm so jealous. So did you do something with that?
Yeah, I mean, I paid off all my credit cards, and then I started a business organizing closets for rich people, which was so much fun, and spent a lot of time in LA doing that. And I worked with a lot of influencers. So working so closely with them, I was like, your life looks so nice. I want this life. So I stopped doing the closets and I moved back and started waiting tables and posting on the internet. And now here I am 3 years later, and it worked.
I want to backtrack just slightly and talk about this closet business. How did that like come to be an idea? Like what led to that starting?
I find a lot of pleasure in organizing, and I was living at my friend's loft in Dumbo in Brooklyn, at this like massive loft, and she has like an insane closet. So I had all this time and all this, unemployment money. So I organized all of her designer goods like really beautifully. And
like for fun?
Because she wasn't there. Yeah, like for fun.
You're so gay.
She was.
You're so gay.
I know. I mean, she has like Birkins and stuff. It was so fun to stage. And then I shot everything and like built a website around this like basically like fake closet that I organized, but it was like actually my home. And I built a website and started like pitching myself to influencers that I knew were like fleeing the city during the mass COVID exodus. There was like every influencer in New York like fled the city during COVID and moved to LA. So I capitalized on that and I reached out to like 100 of them, and a few of them responded and showed like I had a whole portfolio, and they were like, yeah, I'll like fly you out to LA and you can like do my whole house and I'll market you and like I'll do content with you and promote you on my page. So I got 3 people to do that. I packed up their apartments in New York. They flew me to LA. I organized their homes in like Beverly Hills and West Hollywood. They posted about me, and then I got a shit ton of clients in LA through that. And then since my mom lives in California, she drove down and was like my assistant for that. And she and I did that for like a few months during COVID. and made a lot of money. And then I realized that I didn't want to do that for the rest of my life, because it was kind of like at a point where it was going really well and I was going to have to move to LA if I wanted to do this for real, which I could have, but something in me just didn't want to, A, live in LA, I hate LA, and B, like, organize closets for a living. So I kind of took the inspiration from the people I was working with, and they taught me a lot about like their careers and how they got where they were, and I was like, I can do this too. So I moved back to the city, started waiting tables and filming my life, and yeah, that's how I got here.
That's wonderful. Well, I'm glad that you made such a cool evolution. Obviously, you're very much an entrepreneur. You mentioned you want to be a screenwriter, right? How far away do you think that dream is?
I hope like 4 to 5 years. That's my goal. I have a screenplay I've written. It's just like getting it in front of the right eyes. And I don't know how closely you follow my content, but I like every once in a while I try to like reincorporate like really harsh, like fucked up dystopian sci-fi work. Like I just did one, like I'm doing a series now that's like, what do you do for a living? And it's like stupid ass job titles. And I did one that was like based in the future. My main writing, the writing I want to do that's going to be produced one day by like networks, is like dystopian sci-fi. And when you look at my page, it's very like, it's trickled in there, but it's not like my main thing, because people get very scared talking about that kind of stuff.
Well, speaking of your content, like how did that all start? Like when did you start making TikToks and videos, and what's your process in creating that content?
I started when I was doing closets, and I was like, maybe I can be like a closet content, like an organizing content creator, kind of like that girl who has that Netflix show. Mm-hmm. I forget her name.
Marie Kondo.
Yeah, Marie Kondo. I was like, maybe I can go that route. And then I was like, I hate making this content. This is so boring. This is not fun for me. And then, so I stopped doing that, and I just kind of started to, like, I just tried to, like, talk to the camera and, like, go through, like, my life and, like, give, like, New York City recommendations. Like, when I look back at, like, some of my first posts, they're so embarrassing. I was like, you have to go to the vintage market under the Manhattan Bridge. It's really cringy. I was like being for real. Like, I started out, like, being for real. And, which is so funny now, because, like, nothing I do is for real. So that's how it started. And then like it slowly I just slowly like became more comfortable in front of the camera and became like not necessarily myself, but like characters that I like and that I use to kind of like cope with existing. And I started actually taking it, when I stopped drinking, I started actually taking it very seriously and started like writing scripts and writing ideas and giving myself like, I went through a phase where like I was fully like, I just wanted to like test it and like test my abilities. I fully lied for probably 3 months in my content about like everything going on in my life. I would lie about dates I would go on. I would just like write stories, and then I would tell them to the camera walking down the street as though it happened to me. So I've experimented a lot, and that was a fun era. But then I was like, I don't think I need to lie about my life per se, but I can play characters. And then I started writing for characters and doing like character work. And I think landing on that about a year ago is when it really kind of became something that felt very authentic and what I should be doing. But it took like 2.5 years to get there.
Hard work pays off. And I want to talk about your content more, but you did just mention that a lot of this creative process started when you stopped drinking. Are you still not drinking at all?
I don't really drink, honestly. Like, I will sometimes, like, I'll have, like, a drink. But when I was waiting tables, serving in New York City is insane, and everyone is an alcoholic and a drug addict. So it was very easy to, like, get into that. Because you're working, like, 12-hour days. Like, you're working so closely with these people. People suck that you serve. And, you know, sometimes you just need a shot after a really rough table or 4. And that just kind of becomes like a part of your routine and your lifestyle. Like, I would clock in and I would start drinking. So, like, I was drinking not even socially. I was doing it at work. And then there was, like, a club underneath the restaurant that existed, like, that we owned. not me, but like the owners of the restaurant. So I could go down there after work and just like drink at the bar. And it just became like a very much an easy part of my life. It was so accessible. And then I stopped and then started like really, really focusing. Cause like even when I was drinking, it was my goal to like not wait tables and do content, but it was hindering my ability, obviously. And then I stopped, and after probably like 4 or 5 months after stopping, I was able to quit my serving job and pursue this full time. So it really cleared my brain.
Yeah. Outside of like professional work or your content work, would you say that the decision to be sober like changed your friendships at all?
Yeah. I mean, I had less friends after I stopped drinking because a lot of my friends it was based around drinking. And I was like, if that's all we're going to do, I really can't hang out with you. So I lost a lot of friends from that. But I mean, were they really friends? Probably not.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like that heart-wrenching. I've always been a big like quality over quantity person anyway, which is in my real life. I know that's like funny when I say that when my career is based off of how many people follow me and like what I produce. But in my personal life, I really have like a circle of, outside of my family, like 4 people. And I've always been that way. And I think my mom just kind of hammered that into my brain because I always wanted to be, it was hard for me to make friends, obviously, where I lived. And she would always hammer that into my brain that it was quality over quantity. And she got through to me in my adult years, and she was correct. And I don't really desire a large friend group. I actually, when I see people out at like dinners or brunch and there's like 12 people at a table, I'm like, how the fuck do any of you know each other and do you like each other?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to me. And like my birthday, I think I had 5 people in my apartment, and that was even hard to gather. I was like, how do you get 12 people on a random Saturday to go to brunch? I don't know. Couldn't tell
And to
you.
have like meaningful connections with each of those people too that are beyond the surface, like how do you even manage that?
I don't know.
How did you kind of go about making higher quality friends, even if you weren't trying to, make a shit ton of them? How did you go about kind of changing your activities to still like spend time with people that matter?
I started reading a lot of books about like New York-based storylines. And you're gay. I really hope you read A Little Life. Did you read A Little Life?
No, but now I need to.
You're gonna want to kill yourself, but it's so good. It's a book about like a friend group living in New York City. And I don't know when. She doesn't really write in like timelines. It's like very obscure, but they would like go to art galleries and like go on like really long walks and just go thrifting, and like nothing they did really revolved much around drinking, and they would just like hang out in their apartments. And I just kind of started doing that. I just started going to galleries, museums. I started just sitting at coffee shops and reading alone. I don't think it's, Are you saying like in terms of like the gay community, how do I make gay friends, or like generally?
No, I think I meant generally, but I do think that just since a lot of gay people that watch this, that they would probably relate to that aspect of like drinking being like overrepresented in their social interactions. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
especially in New York, or really any big city.
Yeah, New York is such an alcohol-fueled city. I also don't really go out that much, which I think every time I say that, people are so shocked because for some reason my internet persona looks like they go out a lot, but I really don't.
I want to talk about your content because there's not anything quite like it that I've seen like on TikTok, and it's so funny and fresh and like unique with every single thing that you post. Even like the series, you always keep it new and engaging and hilarious. Like, how do you stay creative? Like, what inspires you with your content?
As cliche as it sounds, like living here, like a lot of times when I'm out filming, like I just get inspired by like some dumb shit happening around me, because there's so much dumb shit happening in the city all the time, because obviously a lot of what I do is making fun of things. And this city has so many like ridiculous like pop-ups, and people spend money on the dumbest things. And you walk down the street and you hear the most psychotic conversations just organically happening right next to you. Like, I've written entire scripts for episodes of things based off of like a conversation I heard someone talking like in line at a coffee shop, or like at the gym, or in a boutique. So a lot of my job is literally just going out and like exploring the city and going to different neighborhoods and interacting with different people, like strangers. And that is really what keeps me fresh, I think. Because people are like, would you ever leave the city? And I'm like, I don't think I can creatively. I think I would really lose a lot of my inspiration leaving New York.
So you'd say like New York and like just being in that environment is kind of the source of all that content you come up with?
It really is. I mean, it's such a part of my identity that it's like so closely tied to what people think of me. Like, I think when people think of me, they think New York. I don't think they really associate me with anything else, which I love personally, because that was like my goal the whole time. Like, I started out like making fun of transplants and doing all of that, and then now to be like have people so closely associate me with the city is, I'm like so proud of that. Like, I was in New York Magazine for that last year in 23, and it's just, yeah, I've really become one of those annoying ass people who thinks New York is the center of the universe, but I love it, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
So we got some questions from our followers for you.
Oh my god, I forgot about that. Did people know who I was?
Yes, people were like gagging in the like swipe ups. They were obsessed. They were like, "Oh my gosh, Benton, I'm so excited."
Funny.
First one here. What happened to your ex that was all over your page and then gone? Do they have an opinion on the current character?
Yeah, what happened to Chicago boy, Benton?
Nothing like happened. Like, there wasn't like.
It's just a circle of gay life.
He was like going through his own like. He was like ending his own relationship. I feel like I should not be discussing his personal life, but he was going through his own thing. And it was just like bad timing, and the distance was not like ideal, and it wasn't like, there wasn't like enough of an effort being made to like see each other in the real world. And I just didn't think that it made sense to like continue pursuing. We're still friends.
Has a brand ever DM'd you or otherwise communicated with you saying they don't like you making fun of their stuff? Or like, have you ever had anyone try to essentially try to censor your free speech because of all the roasting you do?
Shockingly, no. I think brands are scared of me.
Well, didn't you say that one brand literally sent you free shit after you roasted them?
Yeah. Like, I think brands are like aware that the only way to approach that is to like pay me now. Yeah, no, none of them have like actually expressed concern over what I have to say. I got a free helicopter from JFK to my apartment for shitting on.
I saw that shit. That was cool.
Blade,
I was like, what is this guy doing? It was very random.
I think it's in Chicago too, but it's like a private jet company, and I did like a whole video roasting them, and they gave me a free helicopter.
That's awesome though. I mean, I did see that content. So more like that. More like that.
Yeah. I think brands are getting it. I think they're starting to understand.
If they have good PR people, they probably understand like you have to lean into it versus trying to.
Yeah.
Benton, I love to close all these episodes by asking this question. If you were to give 13-year-old Benton in North Carolina advice, what would you say to him?
Start a YouTube channel. Start now, bitch. You can retire at 26 if you start now. Like, I would tell him to just start.
Well, Benton, thank you so much for taking the time to come on today. Do you want to give everyone your socials so they can follow you if they aren't already?
Benton McClintock. It's my name. No one else has it.
Well, thank you so much, Benton. Everyone will be following the balloon. You can follow us on Instagram at UnpackTHT and on TikTok at UnpackThatPod. Thank you so much, Benton. And we'll see you guys right back here every other Thursday. Bye, everyone.